Interrupt this and take you straight to a special report. Director of the Secret Service, Kim Cheatle, resigning from her position.
Has resigned her post. It comes 24 hours after her blistering hearing in front of the House Oversight Committee investigating the attempted assassination of Donald Trump during his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. During that contentious hearing, lawmakers from both parties called on her to resign, signaling frustration with her refusal to directly answer questions, citing the ongoing investigation into the shooting. Director Cheatle accepting full responsibility, calling it the agency's most significant operational failure in decades, and acknowledging, quote, on June 13th, we failed. Cheatle forcefully pushed back against accusations that the Secret Service had denied requests for additional security at that rally. She also revealed a local SWAT team spotted gunman Thomas Crooks on the roof of that warehouse approximately 18 minutes before Trump took the stage, adding the Secret Service was alerted between 2 to 5 times about a suspicious person before that first shot was even fired. Cheatle claiming word of a possible threat was never given to the Secret Service. If it had, Donald Trump's security would not have allowed him to take the stage. Cheatle saying Crooks wasn't considered a threat until just seconds before that shooting. Let's get right to ABC Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas. Pierre, during that blistering hearing yesterday, several times your interview with Cheatle was cited. Does this surprise you that she is stepping down?
Well, as late as last night, Phil, she was maintaining that she would not step down, that she felt she was in the best position to carry on the mission of the Secret Service. But clearly overnight, after seeing that she had become a distraction to the Secret Service after that, as you said, blistering hearing, it was one of the most intense grilling I've ever seen a public official go through, in which Democrats and Republicans piled on with question after question. For some reason, she simply chose not to answer some of the specifics that she had the details with. She would not do it. Democrats and Republicans, again, calling on her to step down, to say if she didn't step down, that she should be fired. Knowing that overnight, clearly she thought long and hard about it. And this statement that we have that was read to the workforce sums it up. In light of recent events, it is with a heavy heart that I've made the difficult decision to step down as your director. But I think the key, again, was she was not simply able to give a clear-cut answer to the question that everyone has been focused on. Why was there not Secret Service or law enforcement personnel on top of the roof? Why was there not law enforcement personnel stationed around that building that had a clear line of sight directly to the former president? Why was there not law enforcement personnel around the building to make sure no one could get to the top of the roof? The agency was not able to answer that question clearly. Law enforcement and state and law enforcement officials were clearly not in position to do the job they need to do. And Phil, I think the key thing is she talked about the notion that there were operational plans discussed, but she would not identify the people at the Secret Service who were responsible for putting that plan in place. Given that, law enforcement officials said you're stonewalling. Congressional figures were very upset with her, and she had no room, no sympathy. I've never seen a hearing quite like we saw yesterday.
Yeah, and Pierre, at one point, some frustrated lawmaker actually said, you gave the ABC News reporter more answers than you're giving us. It just seemed like whether she was prepared or not prepared, she could have told lawmakers, hey, this is an active investigation. I can't give these details, but she couldn't even do that yesterday, Pierre.
Phil, here's a key thing. We know for a fact that the FBI and the Secret Service briefed members of Congress last week with a tick-tock, blow by blow, about what they knew at this moment in terms of what happened in terms of the assassination attempt. Why she did not give that information that they gave to Congress behind closed doors more openly will be a question that's pondered, and it's the reason why she's no longer in office today.
And Aaron Katersky is here with me in studio. Aaron, we heard Pierre talk a little bit about that, but you have her full resignation letter here.
The resignation letter was sent in a message to the workforce a little less than a half hour ago, Phil, and it simply said that she did not want those bipartisan calls for her resignation to become a distraction. And so she says, with a heavy heart, she has made the difficult decision to step down as director. These bipartisan calls came almost immediately as soon as that hearing started. And the final one came from Jamie Raskin, the ranking member, who waited until the 4-hour hearing concluded before he said publicly that she didn't seem to have a choice but to resign. There wasn't a way that she was going to survive, given what many in the committee viewed as the failings of the Secret Service, which she says she takes full responsibility for, what she called a security lapse. But after the bipartisan calls, Phil, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, and she said the buck stops here, and today the buck stopped with her. Aaron, thank you. Pierre, thank you as well. Our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. We'll have a full wrap-up on World News Tonight with David Muir. For now, I'm Phil Lipoff. We'll see you soon.